Hi everyone. Today's video is going to be all about using up bits and pieces that I've had in my little tub of bits. I'd made these florals for a previous project and I always make far too many. And going through this morning I thought we really need to use them up. So I've got this beautiful copper colour, this really nice, what I would call a stone colour, and the brown. I don't know if I'm going to be using all of these, but they're there. So I'm going to pop those to one side. I've got some scraps of the same colour satin. It's more of a paperweight than a card weight, which I'm going to cut some foliage with. I pulled out a pattern paper, similar colouring for a background piece, and I'm going to be working with craft card today. I've got some sentiments. I don't know what I'm going to use yet. I've got my floaty fronds and my whimsy foliage, and I've also got the Rocco Splendor occasional sentiments. I don't know who I'm making this for or what it's going to be for until I get to the end. And I've got a little sentiment that I'm going to put in the middle. So I'm just going to pop all that to one side. Now this is going to be floating sentiment card. So I've got one piece of A4 craft card, and I'm just going to decide what size I want to make this, because I want to split this down into two. So this is 11 3/4. So if I take off, if I just pop this down to 11.5, so we've got an equal amount to work with. So half of 11.5 is 5 3/4. That should give me two equal pieces. So if I cut this at 6 1/4, that's going to give me the bottom. And then if I cut this again at 4 1/4, that's going to give me the top. And then this piece is 4 1/4, so that's absolutely perfect. So pop that to one side. So what my plan is to have this piece across the top, this piece across the bottom, and then this floating piece on the inside. What I need to do now is score 1/4 of an inch. So on this, the short side of the craft card, I need to score down just 1/4 of an inch. There we go. So that will now allow me to fold this over and give that a really nice burnish. And then our top piece, we can now glue, run a nice bit of glue all along the top of that fold, and then we can line that up exact. So just make sure you get that nicely lined up. Turn that over and give that a really nice press down. So now we've got this flappy piece. So the next thing I need to do is cut a matte layer for this top piece, and we're going to be using this really pretty leaf design. So I know now that this is 5 3/4 by 2. So if I cut this piece at 5 1/2 by 1 3/4, so that's 1 3/4 by 5 1/2, and this is going to allow me to sit this across the top like so. You might as well do the same for the bottom one while we've got it out. So that was, yeah, 1 3/4 by 5 1/2. And that will sit across the bottom one when we've done this one. So this one is 4 1/4 in width by 5 3/4 in height. So we want this one to be 4 by 5 1/2. And that should give me a nice mat for that piece. So that's all our mats cut out for our design. So I'm gonna just glue this one on first. So run a nice bit of glue all over your mat layer, and we'll get that one lined up where we want it, and then we can mat this one. Get that one nicely lined up. And then this one we are going to glue to the top of this one, but I need to make sure that when I pop this one on, we've got roughly the same. Yeah, roughly about 1 inch, just over 1 inch. So just get a nice bit of glue across the top of there. And get this one lined up. Try and keep the same distance on the sides. Just going to turn that over and make sure we've got no glue showing. Now it's important at this stage to make sure that you get this straight, and then we can glue this one down. I don't think there's a right and a wrong way for this pattern, but I think we'll have it that way. And then this one is going to go underneath and be glued. We only want to glue roughly up to where my thumb is. And if you pop this down in line with the bottom, nice and straight, bring this across. And give that a nice press down, and just check that there's no glue seeping through the other side. We now have our floating panel card. So now it's all about decorating. So what I thought I would do is use up my florals, and I am going to put these down with glue. I don't want there to be too much height going on with this, so I'm just going to pop this so that it's in that corner. And then the next one is going to go, and then this last one is going to go underneath. So that's those 3 down, and they are going to take a while to grab because this is satin cardstock. Just going to have the small one at the bottom, and I'm going to have gold one and a brown one. But before I put those down, I want to do my sentiment so that I know where to place them. So I'm just going to take in a piece of white cardstock And what I thought I'd like to put on here is to both of you on, no, I'm just going to put on your anniversary, which I think is quite a nice fit-in card for an anniversary. You need the on your, and I take in the appropriate block. This is where I want the anniversary. And then we're going to have on your anniversary. Now if I can pick all these up in one go and stamp them, that would be better, but I do know that that's going to leave a mark, so I'm going to turn that over. Right, let's have a look and see if we can do this. On your anniversary, so if I pop that in the center, give that a nice press down. Perfect. Cut this out with my paper trimmer. So we're going to go across the top there, and across the bottom, there we go, on your anniversary. So that sentiment's going to sit just in the center. But I do think that's a tad too white. Just take the brush corduroy in the Distress Oxides. I am going to stamp off with that because I don't want it to be too, and I'm just going to very gently go over my sentiment, and it doesn't have to all be filled in, it just taking away that stark white. We could even go around the edges. So we're going to pop this one up with some foam tape. So just run a couple of lines of foam tape on the back of there. Just to give this one a bit of height. And if we remove those back ends, and this sentiment is going to go there, making sure we've got that nice and straight. And then I can add some florals to the bottom. So this one is going to sit right there. I'm going to have a brown one come in just underneath up there. And then we've got another copper one, which can come under this side. I don't want to overpower it with florals, but I would like to use them up. I think that's quite a nice, yeah, I think that's quite a nice layout. Go underneath again with this one. Just pop that one down, and then the last one. So all those florals that I had from a previous project, I've now used apart from one. So this is how the front of the card is looking on your anniversary. Obviously they need to grab. And what I thought I would do, if I put something there to hold that up, is on the inside, I thought I'd put this piece of spare which was left over from the front, and this measures 4 by 5, which I think is going to be plenty big enough. Just making sure that it's going to show through. I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock. Right, so the first thing I need to do is measure this. That's 4 1/4. So as long as it's not wider than 4 1/4, we should be okay. So we said this was 4. So if I cut this white piece at 4 3/16, that'll give us a little white border. 4 3/16 by 5 3/16. So I'm going to glue that one down. I get a real satisfaction out of using up cardstock and embellishments that I have in a tub from previous projects. This one is going to go here, but I want to do the sentiment to go on the front of it first. And what I thought I would do is this little sentiment from Sentimentally Yours says, "Today is such a special day, it really will be great. Your friends and family will all be there to help you celebrate. Have a wonderful day." And I thought that would be quite fitting for an anniversary card. So if I pop this one down on my glass mat, taking my stamping block, I'm going to ink this up again with the VersaFine Onyx Black. And just get that as straight as possible. There we go. Give that one a nice press down. So that's a really, really nice sentiment. I need now to cut this down. I love it as well when I do projects like this. I start off, I just have a few odd bits and I don't know where I'm going with it. And then all of a sudden, in my opinion, I've got a stunning end result. So this is going to sit on here like so. So I need to take some off of the top, and I think I'll do roughly the same top and bottom. So this one again is going to be glued on. In the middle roughly. Turn that over and give that a nice press on the back. And I'm going to take in my brush with the brushed corduroy, and I'm just going to go over this with what's left on the brush, just to take away that stark white again. And then what I'm going to do with this is pop this in the center, and again this is going to be glued down. So if I don't press that down, I think that needs to go across just slightly there. Keep bringing that over and making sure you can't see. Press that one down. Perfect. And then these tiny ones, I thought I would just put one at the top and two at the bottom. Obviously we don't want too much on the inside of the card. So I'm going to have one just there. Would have been nice if I'd had the lighter colour to go at the top, but I don't. I'm going to put another brown one just at the top. So that's the inside of the card done. Tiny little bit of room there to write with all love always or from. And that's where we are at the moment. Now all I want to do with this is cut some leaves. So I'm just going to pop that to one side. And what I thought I would do with these scraps of satin card that I had left over is cut a few ferns. So we could have a gold one going underneath this one. Right, let's glue these down a minute. And maybe that one at the top. Oh, wrong glue. Tiny bit of glue on there. So I'm just going to bring this one around. Pop that one under. And then the same at the bottom. Now you can always break down your fronds to make them shorter. Make sure that sticks where I want it to stick and on the angle that I want it. I'll pop a bit of glue on the back of there, and I'm going to bring this one just underneath these. Give that a nice press down. Tiny bit of glue on there. I could have this one coming along, going up slightly that way. I'm going to stop. So we've got all those fronds there. So this is the front of the card on your anniversary. And when you open this up, you've got this really pretty sentiment on the inside. I'm going to break this one off there. I'm just going to take this up under that leaf. There we go. And then maybe pop a bit of glue on the back of there. Lift these up. And just pop this one in between. And there we go. We have a floating anniversary card. How beautiful is that? Just by using leftovers, really, apart from the backing paper and the craft card, everything else was using, I don't like to call it scrap card, leftover card. Yeah. And we've got this lovely sentiment on the inside, which when the card is shut you can't see. Hope you enjoyed my little video. I hope you've learned something. Thank you for watching. Let's just pop there. And until the next time. Bye for now.